So the Yankees were just defeated by the Houston Astros in a sweep in the American League Championship Series. Now, it does suck that for us Mariner fans, we are watching our AL West rival, the Astros, make it to the World Series once again. And they have made it pretty much consecutively since 2017, sorry, with the exception of the 2018 season and the 2020 season. But other than that, Houston's been an absolute juggernaut. Now you can say what you want about their cheating thing, their garbage can, but they still found a way to recover and still return to the World Series. Even their completely somewhat decimated team of 2020, they still managed to even make it to the ALCS in 2020. So even in their quote down year, they still made it. Now, why am I saying that us Mariner fans should be encouraged by this? Because if you look at run differential between the performance of the Mariners and the Yankees, the Mariners actually performed better than what the Yankees did. Because here are the differences alone. It was in the American League Division Series, the Mariners had a -4 run differential, and all three of those games were very winnable. If only some better decisions were made by Scott Service, and if the offense was just there for Game 3 and, of course, Game 2, they could have won the series or at least forced it to Game 5. Now, as for the Yankees themselves, what a disappointment they were. Other than some few close games, they had that goose egg of a game in Game 3 where they gave up 5 runs to the Astros, and they actually didn't play as well against Justin Verlander compared to what the Mariners did to Justin Verlander. So what does this mean? I think the Mariners really should go all in and try to get that championship. Now, I'm not saying like blow up the farm system like he kind of did for Luis Castillo. Now, Jerry did feel justified for taking a little bit of risk on Luis Castillo because he did express, and I did kind of bring it up in my last video of the press conference, he did bring up that a lot of his prospects that he still has haven't even broken in their 20s, and they still have potential to be great contributors for the Mariners of the future. But for now, the Mariners should still actually try to be serious in winning a World Series, because although you got Julio Rodriguez locked up to a contract, you have to think about Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, who are going to be looking for those big deals if they keep playing this way, which hopefully I expect them to as long as they're healthy. And if they are healthy, there is no question that they should be able to compete at a high level. And then eventually they're going to ask for big money, which the Mariners are going to have to do. And it makes me remember back in 1995 when they had kind of a dynasty in the making with Griffey, A-Rod, Jr., Griffey, A-Rod, Buhner, and Martinez. The Mariners' cheap ownership squandered all of it and ended up basically funding the Yankees dynasty and Boston's dynasty. So hopefully history won't repeat itself under this ownership of John Stanton. And going forward, I hope the Mariners can take this playoff experience and move it into next season. And let's compete for that World Series championship. Because it does look pretty hopeful, especially the way they performed against Houston. It was pretty darn close. And it looks like they're just a good offensive bat and a closer away from the World Series. So let's go ahead and get like Edwin Diaz for closer. Get someone like Trey Turner or Carlos Correa for the infield. And that is if J.P. Crawford is willing to convert to second base, or anyone who we bring in is willing to convert into second base. So we'll have to see what the offseason holds for us. But hopefully until then, the Mariners do get serious for this offseason and do what they can to be competitive against Houston and for the World Series.